Right now, before the lights fade and the red carpet is rolled away, one name is dominating the global conversation: Justin Bieber. Tonight is not just another Grammy Awards night, and if you follow pop culture even casually, stay right here and drop your thoughts in the comments now, because what unfolded at the Grammy Awards 2026 is layered, tense, and impossible to ignore. Los Angeles felt different hours before the show even began. There was a buzz in the air, a quiet pressure building behind the glamour. The Grammy Awards 2026 arrived carrying more than trophies and performances. They arrived carrying a shift. From the first camera sweep across the venue, it became clear where the focus would land. Justin Bieber wasn't just attending the Grammys. He was shaping the narrative of the night. Every lens seemed magnetized to him. Every mention of past eras, every archival clip, every whispered conversation about his evolution converged into one powerful storyline. This wasn't nostalgia packaged for easy applause. This was a comeback narrative refined by time, struggle, and reinvention. The industry sensed it. Bieber no longer stood as the teenage phenomenon or tabloid headline. He stood as an artist in control of his own legacy. The tempo slowed, inviting audiences to reflect on the long road that led here, then suddenly accelerated as the night intensified. But as the spotlight burned brighter on Bieber, a wave of disappointment rippled through social media. Fans noticed it instantly. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were nowhere to be seen. No surprise entrants, no reaction shots, no viral moments of them seated together in the crowd. Their absence became a story of its own. Some fans expressed frustration. Others speculated tight schedules, strategic silence, or something more deliberate. Within minutes, timelines shifted, hashtags surged, and the Grammys took on an entirely different emotional tone. This is where the tension deepened. What truly made this night different wasn't just who showed up, but who didn't. The absence of two of pop culture's most talked about figures amplified the presence of one. Cameras subtly adjusted. Zooms lingered longer. Every reaction shot carried more weight. The broadcast rhythm changed, pulling viewers closer, encouraging them to read between the lines rather than listen to what was being said outright. Midway through the ceremony, curiosity took full control. Was this coincidence? Or was the industry quietly sending a message? Don't look away. This is where the story sharpens. Conversations online began to shift from disappointment to analysis. Relevance, longevity, influence. Who is truly steering the direction of global pop right now? The energy in the room transformed. Visuals became more dynamic, pacing tightened, and the tension climbed another level. Then came the payoff, the moment when everything aligned. Grammy Awards 2026 revealed itself not just as a celebration, but as a declaration. Justin Bieber stood at the center of it, not fueled by controversy, but by consistency and artistic maturity. The absence of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce didn't weaken the night, clarified it. Without distraction, the spotlight burned clean and focused. The industry didn't need to say it out loud. The message was clear. A new chapter is being written. As the final lights dimmed and conversations spilled across phones, timelines, and group chats worldwide, one truth settled in. The Grammy Awards 2026 will be remembered as the night the narrative shifted. If you agree, or if you see it differently, share your take in the comments, pass the story along, and stay tuned. This conversation is far from over. And the story didn't end when the applause faded. As the ceremony moved deeper into the night, the atmosphere grew heavier, more intentional. Every award announcement, every transition between performances felt curated to reinforce one central idea. This was a night about presence, impact, and narrative power. Justin Bieber's name kept resurfacing, not always spoken directly, but echoed through context, visuals, and reactions. Industry insiders watching closely could feel it. This wasn't accidental momentum. This was alignment. Behind the scenes, sources whispered about how carefully managed this era has been. Fewer headlines, more discipline. Less noise, more substance. Bieber's recent work, collaborations, and public restraint had quietly rebuilt trust with the industry. Grammy voters noticed. executives noticed. And on this night, the cameras made sure the audience noticed too. Each time the broadcast cut back to him, the framing was tighter, zoomed in, intentional, a visual reminder that this wasn't about chaos, it was about control. Meanwhile, the absence of Taylor Swift continued to ripple outward. 4 years, her presence at award shows has been an event in itself: reaction shots, standing ovations, instant memes. Without her, the visual language of the Grammys changed. The show felt leaner, sharper, almost more serious. Fans at home began to sense it. Without the usual gravitational pull of Swift's star power, the night recalibrated around a different emotional core, and Travis Kelce's absence only intensified that shift. In a year where pop culture thrives on crossover moments, music colliding with sports, celebrity relationships dominating headlines, the Grammys 2026 quietly stepped away from spectacle. No cutaways, no viral couple moments, just music, legacy, and positioning. For some fans, that was disappointing. For others, it felt refreshing. Either way, it was impossible to ignore. At this point, the narrative tension reached a new level. Social media wasn't just reacting anymore, it was dissecting. Clips were slowed down, expressions analyzed, the order of performances questioned. Why this artist now? Why that tribute here? Why that camera angle? Viewers weren't just watching the Grammys, they were studying them. And the more they looked, the clearer the pattern became. Justin Bieber wasn't dominating the night through volume. He was dominating through gravity. Every performance that followed seemed to orbit around a larger theme: longevity. Artists paid subtle homage to evolution, to survival, to reinvention. Lyrics hit differently. Speeches lingered longer. Even the pacing of the show began to feel like a slow build toward something inevitable. The tension wasn't loud, but it was constant. A low-frequency hum that kept audiences locked in, waiting for resolution. Then came the moment that shifted everything. When Bieber finally took the stage, whether to present, perform, or accept recognition, the energy in the room snapped into focus. The applause wasn't explosive. It was sustained, respectful, heavy. This wasn't the scream of fans chasing nostalgia. This was the sound of acknowledgement, of an industry recognizing endurance. The camera zoomed closer. The background softened. For a few seconds, the entire Grammys felt intimate. That's when it became undeniable. Grammy Awards 2026 wasn't about crowning the newest star. It was about validating a journey. And suddenly, the absence of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce made even more sense. Not as a snub, not as drama, but as contrast. Their non-appearance stripped the night of distraction. It forced the narrative inward, toward craft, toward history, toward an artist who had been counted out more than once and still found his way back to the center. As the ceremony approached its final stretch, conversations online shifted one last time. The disappointment cooled. The speculation faded. In its place came reflection. Fans debated eras. Critics reconsidered assumptions. Casual viewers admitted something felt different, but couldn't quite name it. That's the power of a well-controlled narrative. You don't announce it, you let people feel it. When the final award was handed out and the closing music played, the takeaway was clear. Grammy Awards 2026 will not be remembered for a single performance or speech. It will be remembered as a turning point, a night where absence amplified presence, where silence spoke louder than spectacle, and where Justin Bieber reclaimed the spotlight not by force, but by focus. Now it's your turn. Did the Grammys get it right this year? Was this a calculated shift or a natural evolution? Drop your thoughts, keep the discussion alive, and don't log off just yet. Because if this night proved anything, it's that the story behind the music is just as powerful as the music itself, and the next chapter is already unfolding. And even after the broadcast officially ended, the conversation refused to slow down. Hours later, while most award shows fade quietly into post-show recaps, Grammy Awards 2026 did the opposite. Clips resurfaced, not just of performances, but of pauses, glances, applause that lingered a second longer than expected. Viewers replayed moments they hadn't questioned in real time, now realizing how carefully the night had been paced. This wasn't a show built on shock value. It was built on tension, controlled, deliberate, and cumulative. Industry analysts began weighing in. Some pointed out how rare it is for the Grammys to allow a single narrative thread to dominate so cleanly. In past years, the ceremony leaned heavily on variety, viral surprises, cross-genre spectacles, celebrity cameos designed to fracture attention. But 2026 resisted that instinct. Instead, it narrowed its lens. And in doing so, it created something far more immersive. Justin Bieber's presence functioned like an anchor. Even when he wasn't on screen, he was part of the subtext. Conversations about artistic growth, mental health, creative autonomy, and longevity all seemed to circle back to his arc. For an artist whose career has unfolded under relentless public scrutiny, this reframing felt intentional. The Grammys weren't rewriting history, they were contextualizing it. Meanwhile, the silence around Taylor Swift remained striking. No statement, no social media post, no indirect acknowledgement. For an artist whose every move is typically decoded in real time, the quiet felt almost louder than presence. Fans oscillated between concern, frustration, and acceptance. Some argued that her absence gave space to other artists. Others felt the show lacked a familiar emotional high. But even those critics admitted something unusual. The Grammys felt more cohesive than it had in years. Travis Kelce's absence layered into that perception. In a media landscape obsessed with convergence, sports crossing into music, relationships becoming branding engines, the Grammys 2026 stepped back from that collision. It chose restraint, and restraint in this case became a statement. The show seemed to say, tonight isn't about virality, it's about validation. As international audiences caught up through replays and highlights, the global response added another dimension. In markets where Bieber's music has remained consistently dominant, the reaction was less surprise and more affirmation. This was the recognition many felt had been overdue. In contrast, regions more aligned with Swift's cultural footprint expressed mixed emotions, underscoring how deeply personal award shows have become to fans worldwide. Still, one detail stood out across every demographic. People watched longer. Viewer retention metrics, early reports suggested, outperformed recent years. The reason wasn't explosive moments, it was unresolved curiosity. The broadcast kept hinting at meaning without spelling it out. Each segment felt like it mattered. Each transition suggested intention. The audience wasn't being dragged forward by noise. They were being pulled by intrigue. And that's where Grammy Awards 2026 quietly redefined success. Instead of chasing headlines the next morning, it planted questions that lingered. What does artistic relevance really look like after a decade in the spotlight? Who decides when a comeback becomes a continuation? How much absence is required before presence feels meaningful again? By centering the night around these unspoken questions, the Grammys transformed from an awards ceremony into a cultural mirror. Justin Bieber's journey happened to fit that reflection perfectly, not because it was flawless, but because it was visible, public, human. As dawn broke and timelines refreshed, the dominant takeaway solidified. This wasn't a night driven by shock, controversy, or surprise appearances. It was driven by narrative confidence. The Grammys didn't beg for attention. They trusted the audience to stay, and the audience did. Looking ahead, the implications are significant. Future ceremonies will be measured against this one, not for spectacle, but for coherence. Artists will question how their presence or absence shapes a story larger than themselves. And fans, now aware of how powerful silence and focus can be, will watch more closely than ever. So when people ask what made Grammy Awards 2026 different, the answer isn't found in a single clip or headline. It's found in the way the night unfolded, slowly, deliberately, and with purpose. In how Justin Bieber became the focal point without demanding it. In how Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's absence reframed the entire room. And in how an industry event reminded the world that sometimes the strongest statement is simply knowing where to point the camera and when not to move it. And if this night is any indication, the story isn't ending here. It's only setting the tone for what comes next.